Welcome, Sens Talk.
Sens win! The Sens win, baby! 4-0 over the Toronto Maple Leafs, and we're going to game number 6 as game 5 goes to your Ottawa Senators, baby! Holy cow! Biz Nasty and all the Leaf fans, beat the traffic! Where are you at? You were chirping us! Leafs in 4! Leafs in 5! Oh, no, no, no! We're going back to Ottawa for game number 6! And you know what that means? We get to fill in one more Lurel. We got the first one and a fantastic win with Jake Sanderson getting that OTGWG. Let's fill in the second one, baby. Go, Sens, go. Can you see it? I gotta make sure you can see it. Oh yeah, here we go. With the Sens theme song in the background, the danger flutes in the background. It does not get any better than this, ladies and gentlemen. It is not, well, it does. If you can fill in X2, it gets much better. But still, ladies and gentlemen, this is electric. If you would have asked me a week ago if I was going to be filling in 2, I would not have been able to say yes. I'm so happy I can say yes right now. Holy cow! Your Ottawa Senators are back in the series, baby. Unbelievable. And as Brady Tkachuk said after the game today, again, are we going to complete the reverse sweep? Who knows? But one thing's for certain, as Brady Tkachuk said after the game, the Kyle Bukauskas of Sportsnet, the seed of doubt has been planted in the minds of the Toronto Maple Leafs. It absolutely has. The beat, the traffic crowd by the Leafs, by the way, impeccable scenes. Less than 5 minutes left, droves of fans leaving the rink. Love to see it. Just love to see it. Fill that in. Can you see it? As the theme song finishes off. Bang. That's what I'm talking about. That's 2 wins on the board for your Ottawa Senators, baby, with the danger flutes in the background. It does not get better than that. Holy cow, what a win tonight for your Ottawa Senators. And I was saying it to my buddy Noah. I was watching the game with him tonight, and I felt it right from the beginning. I didn't put out a tweet. I did not put out a tweet, because whenever I tweet about Linus Ullmark playing fantastic, he often allows 4 goals after that. I don't know what it is. I stayed away from it. I wanted to get my little stupid tweet fingers out there, get a tweet out talking about Ali playing fantastic. But I restrained myself. It's progress, ladies and gentlemen. I restrained myself because I saw it early on. Ullmark was so square to the puck. He was dialed in from the beginning, and I just felt confident that he was going to shut down this game. And he did just that. Helping the Ottawa Senators get right back into the series with a win on the road in his best start, no doubt about it, of his playoff career in the National Hockey League. We'll talk about that in the Keefe's Smoke Meats post-game notes, but holy cow, Linus Ullmark. Give him a little bit of a round of applause. And definitely, just like in game number 4, a rally towel wave, because Linus Ullmark was fantastic tonight. 914 save percentage on Saturday night. And then, of course, a perfect 1,000 save percentage tonight, stopping all 27 shots. What a night for Ollie, baby. And Ollie, we trust. And Ollie, we trust. To all the Ollie haters that were saying Forsberg or Levy for game 4, where are you now? Suddenly everyone's on the Linus Ullmark train. You should never doubt your star goaltender who's won a Vezina, who signed for $8 million for multiple years. There's a reason he signed for so much. There's a reason why he has that track record. Always believe in your star goaltender. And he's proving why you should always do that. Because again, a little bit of a rough start to the series, but my goodness, without Linus Ullmark, Ottawa definitely does not win today. And probably doesn't win on Saturday, to be honest with you. So, shout out Linus Ullmark. I can go on and on and on, and I probably will later on. But we have some stuff to talk about. You're probably wondering, Brandon, I see the 2 Lorels filled in. I see you fired up. You were talking about not getting your dumb little tweet fingers out there, putting out jinxes. I didn't do it. The Sens win. You already know we won. You already know that I didn't put out the jinx birds out there. But you're probably wondering, how did we get that? How did we get that win? How did the Ottawa Senators go into Toronto in a must-win game, an elimination game, with all the pressure on Toronto, of course, but still the Ottawa Senators knowing that if they don't put their best performance in, they can be golfing in less than 48, 24 hours, whatever. The Ottawa Senators, we'll talk about it in this video, the Cardiac Sens grinded this game out and got it done with some good goaltending, with some timely defensive plays, with some luck, and with some key goal scoring at pivotal times from guys who have either been contributing throughout the playoffs, like Adam Gaudette, by the way, My goodness, Adam Gaudette, what a player this guy's been. And I spoke about it in the preview video, not about Gaudette specifically, but in the playoffs. Ottawa's bottom 6 was one of the lone advantages Ottawa had on Toronto going into the series. I think they had the stronger bottom 6, and I think we've seen that in the series. Gaudette has proven that to be the case. And you always know when you're talking about that bottom 6, our bottom 6 is a little better than theirs. When you say that, you're saying that you need a couple guys in the bottom 6, like a David Perron, who's been in the bottom 6 at times, like an Adam Gaudette, like a Shane Pinto and Amadio, of course, like a Ridley Gregg as well, and Zetterlund at times. I mean, the whole bottom 6 has been fantastic to produce and be the key guys in the key moments when no one expects it. And Adam Gaudette has been that and then some this year. Same with Tyler Clevin. Madden Paulo had a great game. I mean, there's so many guys. What a gutsy win for your Ottawa Senators tonight. And let's just get into it because there's so much to cover. And I want to make sure I cover it properly for you guys. So let's get into it here. So I mentioned it before. Brady said after the game tonight that they've planted a seed of doubt in the Leafs. I completely agree with that. And the thing I love the most is the fact that Brady Tkachuk, after the last game on Saturday, after that 4-3 overtime victory, shout out Jake the Snake, by the way, who was fantastic again tonight. Holy cow. He said they will be back for Game 6. Promise delivered. And all I'm saying is ever since I put this and this together, the Senegoth jersey and the Zub hat, the Sens have been winning. This is the combo I wore for basically all of the season. Needless to say, this combo is staying until the end of the playoffs. That's for sure. Because my goodness, I don't know what it is. There's some good luck in this combination here. I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to ruin that good luck. But again, it was kind of ballsy for Tkachuk to say they're coming back. But they're coming back to Ottawa, baby. They're coming back. Now, Ottawa is 7-12 all-time in elimination games, while the Toronto Maple Leafs going into this game 1-for-12 in their last 9 years. That is just insane. With a core that talented, you would think they would be able to get it done more than, again, once out of like 13 chances, 14 chances, whatever it is. Again, I said it in my video, when we were down 3-0, when Ottawa lost that game in overtime. If there was any team that could suffer such a catastrophic, embarrassing, not even just collapse and series loss, but just the scare of a series loss, which we're at now for Toronto for sure because we're going to a Game 6, is the Maple Leafs. And I don't know what it is, but I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And the Ottawa Senators, they may not win this series, but they already won this series because they accomplished a couple of things. They pushed the Leafs not to the brink yet, but they pushed the Leafs around. And more so, they show that they belong. They showed that they could fight back against one of the best teams in the National Hockey League. And they showed, and it's not over, that they absolutely can win a playoff series. So kudos to the Ottawa Senators. Kudos to the boys. Kudos to Travis Green. Kudos to Linus Ullmark. The list goes on. I can go on and on and on, but we should probably get into the recap to talk about kind of how all of this went down. But again, it is very jarring to me that the Leafs with such a talented core, and I don't get it. They just can never get it done. And again, they still have 2 more chances to do it. But if the Leafs don't win Game 6, it's winner take all Game 7. I mean, if you're a Leaf fan, you're probably absolutely sweating bullets right now, and I don't blame you. Because again, you have everything to lose, and Ottawa has everything to gain, and that's a terrible situation to be in if you're a Leaf fan, especially when, again, the Leafs have all the expectations, all the weight on their shoulders, and everything to lose. Now, before we get into the rest of the recap, I want to say thank you to Dylan Puckniak and Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment for sponsoring Sens Talk. Sens Talk is proudly presented by Dylan Puckniak, Ottawa's exclusive realtor with Keller Williams Sports and Entertainment, providing a bilingual real estate service that serves the Ottawa-Gatineau community. Dylan Puckniak has also specialized in supporting professional athletes that come and go in our city, providing service that takes care of the people at the highest level. For realtor experience that puts you and your needs first, visit dylanpuckniak.kw.com to find out more today. So let's go to the first period of play. And 3 minutes in, the Ottawa Senators are off and running, baby. Drake Batherson with a great chance out front. I have no idea how he doesn't score. Morgan Rielly clears it from the goal line. Perron hits the post just before Batherson attempts to put it in. And keep that in mind. Batherson in that first period had 2 golden looks like that. That was the first. Ottawa somehow doesn't score there. A couple minutes later, a massive stop for Linus Ullmark on a Jean Tavares breakaway. Tavares there had a great look, but Nick Jensen, after a bad turnover to Tavares to spring him on the breakaway, with a great, back check to at least cut him off on the forehand. So force him to the backhand, made that save a little bit easier for Linus Ullmark, which was huge, of course, because again, a breakaway for a guy like Jean Tavares, you probably don't want to do. With 5 minutes left in the first period of play, Ridley Gregg. I love Ridley. I love how aggressive he plays. I absolutely love the grittiness and the rat-like nature of Ridley Gregg's game. He's such a pest. But this penalty here, and I saw a lot of Sens fans chirping me for this when I was critical of it. This is a penalty, and this is an undisciplined penalty at that. This call has been called all series. The cross-check into the boards, yeah, maybe you went down a little easy. Doesn't matter. That's the playoffs. That's what's going to happen. Both teams have done it. You got to be smarter there. You have to be much more disciplined, and he wasn't there. Luckily, though, Ottawa finds a way to kill it. I do not know how that puck stays out there in the power play. Linus Ullmark does all he needs to do, though. Then in the last couple minutes, things get really, really wacky. Zub's stick gets chopped by Nyes. Then Matthew Nyes shoots the puck on Ullmark after the whistle. So not only does Matthew Nyes slash Zub, but then he does something incredibly disrespectful and unclassy by shooting the puck after the whistle, which is just a big no-no. And that's not like an empty net goal. Slap shot empty net goal to the Leaf fans that are like, oh, what about the empty net goal? It's different. There's a goalie in net. You're shooting it at somebody. Who knows if there's a shoulder injury or whatever it is. The point is you don't do that. You do not do that. If there's an empty net, is it cheeky? Sure. Is it a little annoying? Whatever. There's no goalie in the net. No one gets really affected by that. Take a shot on net, something bad can happen. You don't do it. That was gross. Pinto goes after Nyes, and then Nyes, yes, he knocks down Shane Pinto. Luckily, though, that does kill off the Leafs power play. So stupidity there by Ridley Gregg and Matthew Nyes, the two guys who have been kind of going at it all series. So the hockey gods work in mysterious ways. Moments later, Morgan Rielly, this was just... come on. I mean, this was disgusting. To the Leaf fans saying this is just like Greg to Matthew Nyes cross-check. It wasn't even close. You're talking about a board battle in that situation where they're both going for the puck and somebody kind of slipped and, yeah, he pushed down. It was definitely a penalty. I'm not arguing otherwise. Into the corner along the boards in a high-danger spot where you're literally taught, don't push them down because you're going to the damn boards. Even I know this. That was ridiculous. That was dangerous, and the fact that was only a minor penalty was an utter joke. You're probably going to get more of a fine or justice from NHL player safety. Oh, yeah, player safety. If you shoot a puck at a friend in warm-up. I'll just leave it at that. But just absolutely ridiculous. But either way, Batherson in the final minute misses another open net. I don't know how they don't score here. Again, the Leafs find a way to keep it out, and Ottawa... they had chances like this too. So both teams got lucky in the sense that the puck should have went in, but the team didn't find a way to put it in. Both teams benefited from that, but early on it looked like it would cost Ottawa, and Batherson in particular, who has had a tough series in my opinion. I do like that he's engaged, but I just think on the defensive side of the game, he's lacking a lot in this series, and there's no finish there. So that, of course, will put more of a spotlight there on Drake Batherson, especially if we would have lost this game. Luckily, that didn't happen, but again, I'm not going to be too harsh on Batherson because I can at least appreciate that he's alive and he's trying to create stuff. You can't say the same for a guy like Dylan Cousins, who I think has been a little quiet in the series. Got a big goal in this game. We'll just leave it at that. We'll save it for later. So hopefully that wakes him up, but I think he's been a little bit invisible. Batherson, offensively, he's been good. Defensively, very much so needs to improve. So a little bit frustrating, but again, can't fault the guy for at least trying, giving it, some effort. So yeah, Ottawa and Toronto after 20 are tied at 0. Leafs lead in shots 12-3. Originally it was 12-5, but the NHL took 2 shots off the Sens board after the during the intermission. So 12-3. So that is like 14, 15 shots through like the last 5 periods at this point. You're just not going to win many hockey games like that. And the Ottawa Senators, certainly in the second and third period, they got 14 more shots. So they started to turn it around there. Especially there in that second period, which we'll talk about in a second here. But again, early on, if you're a Sens fan, you're nervous because Batherson missed 2 key looks. And most importantly, you're just not generating many chances, many shots, right? So I think Ottawa came out pretty decent. I think they were able to weather the storm, thankfully, mostly because of Linus Ullmark. And then because of that, in the second period here, not even 5 minutes into the second period, Ottawa strikes first. It's 1-0. And guess what? You win faceoffs, you get rewarded with goals. He wins a faceoff. And guess what? Right to Hotsam Bacho, Shabbat Shalom, Tom Shabbat, bar down, walks the blue line, toe drag release. A classic Shabbat goal. His first of his NHL career in the playoffs. Congratulations to Shabby, the longest tenured Ottawa Senator on the roster. And Ottawa opens up the scoring. It's 1-0 Senators. And the already library-like quiet Scotiabank Arena zipped it even more. You could hear a literal pin drop after that one as Ottawa is up by 1 after 40 minutes of play, leading in shots 9-3 in the second, but down overall 17-12 to the Leafs. Ottawa was easily the better team in that second period, and they started to get a little bit of their swagger back. With a few minutes left, Mitch Marner got knocked down by Linus Ullmark, and normally I'd be like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. You probably shouldn't do that. But I'm not going to say any of that, and you want to know why? It's because all the Leaf fans in my mentions and in the comments here, and probably, replying to all your tweets or your comments down here or whatever, said all the exact same thing when Ridley Gregg was frankly abused by Stolarz in front of the net. So I don't want to hear anything about Ullmark getting a piece of Marner on a flyby, okay? I don't want to hear a damn thing. Y'all made excuses for that, so don't even say a damn word about this. And again, if we're going to allow that to Ridley Gregg, then this is more than within fair game, okay? So Ottawa up by a goal, going into the third period of play, and my goodness, they're looking to avoid golfing, okay? They don't want to golf. They want to keep their playoff run going. But you're not in the playoffs. I'm not in the playoffs. We're just regular guys. So, you and I want to work on your golf game, right? So this is the perfect opportunity to mention our sponsor, The Bunker, Ottawa's premier golf simulator bar. Whether you're working on your game or just looking for a fun outing with friends, The Bunker offers a welcoming atmosphere, knowledgeable staff, great drinks, and a top-tier golfing experience. Plus, on Sens playoff game days, they're offering 25% off golf and drinks after 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Make sure to visit one of their 2 locations, either in the heart of the glebe or in the East End, just off the Anderson Road exit. Book your tee time today at golfbunker.ca. Hopefully, the Ottawa Senators will only be booking their tee time after the Stanley Cup playoffs are done entirely. I'll just leave it at that. I still got hope we can go to 16, just saying. Let's get to the third period of play here, and not even a minute in, unreal start for the Ottawa Senators. They are buzzing. A great play, but an even better stop by Anthony Stolarz as Tim Stützle cycles in the zone, keeps it in barely on a thread along the blue line, finds Tkachuk somehow, and Tkachuk is robbed by the left pad of Stolarz. To keep the Leafs within reach here. With 13 minutes left in the third period of play, this is the second dumb penalty of the night for Ridley Gregg. Just completely undisciplined. You just cannot have it. You need more here from Ridley Gregg, and by more, I mean less. You just can't have it. You need to be much smarter, and I think a lot of Sens fans on the first one are going to argue with me, but on the second one here, they're not. From the TV, it looks like, it's just a hit. But if you look at it slow-mo with the camera at proper angle where you can actually see the hit, Ridley Gregg literally grabs his horse collar, his collar, and throws him down. No reason for that in the neutral zone. Up by only a goal with 13 minutes left in an elimination game. The Ottawa Senators somehow find a way to kill that penalty off. And a big reason for that is I can't believe it, frankly. I mean, holy cow. We've seen it a few times this season. The Senators penalty kill. Sure, they give up some goals. They give up a good amount of goals, honestly. But they score too. The Ottawa Senators have a sneaky ability to score on the penalty kill. And they do it again here. Holy cow. The hockey gods don't lie. The hockey god, Adam Gaudette, steals the puck, goes back the other way with the workhorse from Whitehorse, Dylan Cousins, who puts it home. And Ottawa leads 2-0 with not even 15 minutes left in the third period of play. They are 15 or less away from sending it to a game number 6, ladies and gentlemen. And Dylan Cousins with a massive goal, shorthanded. That, I'm praying, gets him going. But Adam Gaudette, I got to give him some praise here. The unsung hero so far of these playoffs. I've seen a lot of praise for Clevin, not enough for Gaudette. A beautiful play here. I mean, this guy was literally not even penciled in to be on the team in preseason. And now he's giving us incredible key pivotal plays to help us win the big games that we were praying we would be in during the preseason. Adam Gaudette, you deserve a hell of a round of applause for your series so far. Nice little rally towel wave for you as well to hit myself in the face. All right, I guess I deserve that for getting a little too riled up in the last video. To everyone watching that one, I apologize. I was a little fired up on that one. But anyways, Ottawa up 2-0, baby. Actually, you know what? I don't apologize. I will never apologize for being fired up like that for an Ottawa Senator victory. In fact, maybe I should have been more fired up. Let's just be real about it. Anyways, 2-0 Sens. Less than 10 minutes left. The Leaf fans, they're starting to leave. Beat the traffic, Toronto. Beat the traffic, Leaf fans. See you later. Bye-bye. Because with 3 minutes left, oh, baby, we're going back to Ottawa. Claude Giroux beats out an icing, feeds Tim Stützle from behind the net. He puts it home into the empty net as their Sens are up 3-0. A couple minutes later, with the barn basically empty, all the Leaf fans leaving, beat the traffic. Bye-bye, Toronto. Bye-bye. We'll see you back, hopefully, for Game 7. Brady Tkachuk ices the game. They make it 4-0 as their Sens win 4-0 over the Toronto Maple Leafs. They get their second win of the 2025 Stanley Cup playoffs. The force of Game 6. They make the series a 3-2 lead only for the Leafs. And most importantly, they get a second Laurel up on the board, baby. A massive victory for Ottawa Senators. 4-0. Two nice little empty net goals there at the end to run up that score and make it look like we absolutely routed them. And what I will say here is I don't think we dominated like the score suggests. However, I do think we were the better team tonight purely because I think our defensive structure, while absolutely giving up some very good looks and we got some fortunate bounces and they hit the post a couple times, I'm not ignoring that. I think we did a very, very good job using our sticks to get our sticks in the passing lanes to stop their offensive puck possession, to stop their cycling. I think we did a very good job at disturbing that. I also think we did a very, very good job at forcing them to the outside. There's only a few really good looks where the Leafs were able to cut into that slot area right out front, in that crease, right where the blue crease is, right? So they did a very good job at covering that for the most part. Again, there were some looks. You still need a little bit of improvement, but for the most part, especially again when they were caught, they found ways time and time again to back check and either get that puck off the guy's stick, force him off the puck entirely by using his body, or most importantly, in my opinion, we're able to find ways to win those board battles and whatnot as well. So again, the Leafs had their looks, but the Ottawa Senators, in my opinion, considering the Leafs were definitely more of the team with offensive chances in this game. I think they're the ones driving the play a bit more on the offensive side of things. We got our looks. It was much more of an even game. I do think the Leafs got some looks. I think Ottawa did a very, very good job at minimizing those big chances. And when they did get those big chances, Ullmark stood tall and, of course, stood ultimately as tall as he could with the shutout there. Now, before we get to the rest of the Keith Smoked Meats post-game notes, I should talk about Keith Smoked Meats. And Sens Talk is brought to you by Keith Smoked Meats, the best smoked meat in the Ottawa area. During a process that takes over 150 hours while using the highest grade beef, Keith Smoked Meats smokes their meat on top of a mix of Southern American charcoal and Keith's signature flavored, wood chips, leaving you with a savory Montreal-inspired smoked meat. But the best part, getting it is so easy. Just go to keithsmokedmeats.com, find the smoked meat package you're looking for, press order, and boom! Within days, you'll have freshly made, locally produced smoked meat dropped off right at your doorstep. So go to keithsmokedmeats.com for the best tasting smoked meat experience in Ottawa today. So as I was already saying with Linus Ullmark, easily his best game ever in the playoffs. 27 saves tonight, his first career shutout in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's also the second shutout ever for the Ottawa Senators in an elimination game, the other one coming from Craig Anderson, of course, the best goaltender in franchise history. So kudos to Linus Ullmark, who in the last two games has completely turned it around and has easily been the better goaltender of the two in this series in the last two games. And that is what Ottawa needs if they have any chance of completing one of the most improbable comebacks in NHL history. Again, still need 2 more wins. They do that. It's not in our favor, but it's certainly more in our favor than it was a few hours ago. That's for sure. Holy cow. Game 6, baby. It's coming up in Ottawa. I can believe it. It's a beautiful sight. It's a beautiful sight. By the way, they updated 2 more shots, so it's 29 saves for Linus Ullmark tonight. Speaking of tonight, Jake Sanderson and Tom Chabot, the whole Sanders blue line, frankly, was very, very good. Artem Zub tonight, 8 blocks. I mean, he's a machine. 1 hit as well. Just under 24 minutes of ice time. Then you got a guy like Tyler Clevin who with 3 blocks. He's been such a fantastic player all series. I think he could potentially be a top 4 guy next year, in my opinion. He does not look out of place at all. In fact, he looks like a veteran out there. He is carrying the play. And frankly, he carried the play that resulted in that Sanderson goal in overtime on Saturday. You know, he's the one that got it in. And, you know, Matthews cleared it, and then Sanderson kept it in and put it on net and scored. So, again, Clevin has had a very, very good series, but also Manapolo. I mean, the whole blue lines look good. 2 blocks tonight for him in just under 14 minutes of ice time. Jake Sanderson, just under 27, 2 blocks and a hit as well. Thomas Chabot, a fantastic game with a goal, +3, a shot on net, just under 19 minutes of ice time. So the Ottawa Senator blue line did their job, and the Ottawa Senator centers tonight also did their job. The faceoffs were nearly identical, 49.3% for the Sens, 50.7% for the Leafs. So basically identical, right on the money in terms of it being even. So that is easily Ottawa's best face-off performance of the series, and it's not a shock that this is the best win and the most dominant win they've had in the series. It came in a game where they dominated, or not dominated, but were able to decisively win some of those face-off battles. And again, it resulted in the game-winning goal. So just saying. Ottawa lost the hit battle 40-25, but led in block shots by 18-17. Also the first time tonight in the series, the Ottawa Senators led in blocks after a game. The Leafs lead the National Hockey League playoffs in blocks. So that's impressive right there, and an indicator on how Ottawa is doing a very, very good job at, you know, blocking those lanes, and when the Leafs were forced to shoot because those lanes were blocked, getting in front of the puck to block that as well. So no passes are going through and no shots are going through either. So a fantastic game all around for the Sens blue line, for the Sens forward core, getting some offensive, you know, production, of course, from all the different lines, and more so just winning those face-offs. So again, game number 6. Thursday night here in Ottawa, baby. We'll have all the coverage, of course, here on youtube.com/SensTalk. And I am praying we can fill in the third one here and send it back to Toronto for game number 7. With that, let me know what you think in the comment section down below as always. Woo! The season is not over, baby. In fact, it's kind of just getting started. With that, I'll see you all very, very soon. Sens forever. Go Sens go.